translate to wherever the heck you are. Welcome to Otherworld, Erainn, Gunderholfen, whatever you want to call it. I have not run a module of this size ever in my life. In fact, the only thing that I've really run to its completion would be a DCC funnel called Portal Under the Stars. It's a classic, and it was a lot of fun. Spent all day working on this, so if you have any criticisms, please only nice things.
Cool.
First order of business. Anybody volunteer to be our group caller for the day?
I will, if you give me XP only, though.
Yeah. So you'll get extra XP if you're group caller.
Yes.
If you're mapper, and then if you are the treasurer. So we got a group caller. Anybody want to do mapping?
I can map or I can treasure. I just want the 100 XP. That's like, so if anyone prefers either of those, go
I
for
guess
it.
I can be the treasurer because I don't trust my mapping skills at all, honestly. So I at least can
Sweet.
down what we get.
Okay.
Sweet.
Other than that, I think we're ready. Am I missing anything?
Is everything on mine set up? Did I do anything incorrectly?
I think you're good. Do you have access to Wolf?
I do.
Okay.
It's just I was making sure the stuff I sent you earlier was all right. If you wanted me to re-roll my stats in front of you, I'll do that.
Nah, they were great.
Okay.
It's looking good. You should see Pendar's stats.
He's so smart, guys.
Okay, so I'm going to introduce you a little bit. So what you're looking at here is Longfelt City. Longfelt is a city of roughly 6,000 inhabitants, not including the population of the surrounding farmlands and the visitors. It sits on a great outcrop of rock rising out of the surrounding farmland just south of Ganfell Swamp. The city's walls, which are 15 feet high, straddle the top of the cliffs. The walls are punctuated with circular towers 25 feet high and two gatehouses, one on the western side of the city and one on the southeast side of the city. These are the primary entrances to the city and are approached by two rock slopes which angle up from the fields. These doors are all iron reinforced and are almost always locked. Most of the buildings have 2 stories and are constructed from a light pinky red colored rock with dark brown shingle roofs. Most of Longfelt's streets are cobbled and in good order. The main thoroughfares are wide and busy and filled with merchants and farmers' wagons. Longfelt is a mercantile city sitting upon a fairly busy trade route. Its major products are wool and textiles. It's a home to a variety of different social classes, all the good stuff you want out of your fantasy adventure setting city. You are all adventurers who have spent the last week or so, give or take, getting to know each other in the tavern. You are at Steely Sean's Ale House. The proprietor Woolgar has gotten to know you. He's gotten to know you well. He's served you drinks and given you beds, and you are all here in search of treasure and fortune to be found. You have heard tales of the mighty Gunderholfen dungeon complex in these lands. You have come here in search of these riches. You would know that near the trading town here is a large swamp. Somewhere on the other side is rumored to lie the great abandoned city of Gunderholfen. It is a place of legend and is rumored to contain great wealth and greater still peril. Would you like to go around and introduce your characters?
Yes.
Jake, would you mind starting us real quick?
Sure. I am Jake, and I'm playing Pendar. Pendar is early 20s. He's like average physicality, average, he's average strength, average dexterity, average constitution. He's dumb as a rock. He has 4 intelligence, but he's likable. So that's if you had to choose one trait where he was good, people like him. He can just smile, and he's got a disarming smile. He's a fighter. And He's got a little short bow on his back. He's wearing ringmail. Yeah.
Excellent. Elijah, would you like to go next?
Sure. My character is Randall Bartholomew. He is a magic user, and he actually does have a little bit of a backstory to him. I just got from like a character idea. Basically, if any of you seen the movie the Swan Princess, basically the character idea is, what if Rothbard had, like, the main villain had a apprentice, more or less. So that's just more or less the general idea, where basically Bartholomew had a master at one point, but basically assisted to defeat him once he saw how like absorbed with power he got. But however, he's recently become just has a chip on his shoulder against just society in general. So he wishes to go ahead and search and gain for more power. So he took to adventuring to basically get more power, basically gain more magic, more or less. So he's actually pretty decent for as far as physical terms, everything. But he's not that much sociability. Obviously he's very like a grumpy old man, but he's willing to go ahead and put his life on his line in order to help out others' needs in order to get what he wants, more or less. So he's more self-centered, more or less.
I was muted. That's embarrassing. John, John, are you ready? Would you like to share?
Okay, sure. Can you hear me okay?
You sound great. Much better than when I was muted.
So, are we all going to be human? Because this guy could be human, but he rolled up as an elf on the thing that I was using. But
I was operating under the assumption that we were all
human it is. His name is Lagont, and he has he's stout enough, not so dexterous, not so wise, not so charismatic, but he does have plenty of packing gear, and he's got a sling, and he's got a silver dagger and a small hammer, and he's wearing plate mail. So I think he can fend for himself, hopefully with this little dagger. We'll see how it goes. He just wants to make it rich.
Excellent.
Bruce.
I was
would you mind sharing about both?
I was muted.
Wait, real quick. Let's just imagine a psychometric where you were like one of 5 things, like a thief or a fighter. Like what kind of Lagont? What, if he had to be, one of those things, what do you think he'd be?
He's a fighting man.
Fighting man, level 1.
Scrappy fighting man.
Got him.
Yep.
That's how you know John is an OG. He uses fighting man instead of fighter. Bruce, would you like to share with us?
Yes, I would. So I'm playing Wolf. Wolf is basically just your average northern Viking, like Norse type looking person. He's got a luscious beard. He's about in his late 20s, maybe early 30s. Carries a massive battle axe, and he wears ringmail. Despite being this, he is very average in most of his stats. I think Constitution was like the highest thing I rolled. Besides that. Other than that, he's just a regular fighter.
Excellent. Ross,
very-
would you care to share with us?
He's a fighter 1. Fighting man.
I am.
Okay. Yes. I control the fairly useless 2 hit point bag of meat named Florpert. He is a level 2 thief.
He made level 2?
I have the estate benefit.
Okay.
He's got a house and a couple other things.
That makes a little bit more sense. I was like, there's no way he made.
He is a
level 2.
relative of the previous character, so.
God rest his
All
soul.
right, 2 hit
Even
point
picking up
gang,
our
let's
tab.
go.
Wonderful. So you find yourself and the surprisingly warm for the season. The inn itself, the alehouse itself, is warm, but outside it's cold. It's wet. You find yourself the night before your planned expedition to find the legendary Gunderholfen. What do you do?
All right. Listen up, you miserable bastards. I'm an expert at going into dungeons, Florpert says. I saved the lives of many people the last time we had to do it, and so if you stick with me, you might get rich. You two, you look pretty burly. You'll be up front. You gotta prove yourselves. Points to the fighters. And then let's look around the room and see if there are any other sorts of our kind, especially those that look hungry for money.
Yes. All right. Give me 1 second here. Okay.
Who has a charisma score of like 15? 18?
I've got 14.
It's pretty good.
If anyone's, yeah.
Do you wanna ask around for a rumor? I'll give you some money. If you, I'll palm you
I've got
some.
I've got a charisma of 15.
15. There you go.
I think Ruse should do it.
I'll give you 5 gold pieces to get a really fat, juicy rumor. If you find somebody that looks like they might actually traffic in information.
Oh, you just leave it to old Wolf. I'll get it done right.
I'm already confident. All right.
Okay. As you scan around Sean's alehouse, Steely Sean's alehouse, all you find among the potential adventurers that you see are only potential adventurers in the desperation in their eyes. There are 2 scrawny, underfed, really young men. You think maybe not even of majority age men who not only have a hunger for gold in their eyes, but also maybe a literal hunger in their eyes from being underfed recently. They each have short swords strapped to their girdles and are wearing fairly tattered leather rags.
Awesome. Yeah, Florpert sees that and chuckles evilly. These are exactly the sort of poor sops he's looking for, and I'll push some gold, another 4 gold pieces over to. No, you don't really even need that much. Yeah, no, that's good. 4 gold pieces over to Pindar, and say, "You see those sorry-looking bastards over there? Looks like they could eat the table legs off of that table."
Pendar looks over. He feels a little bad for what he's about to do, but he doesn't think about it too much. he'll walk over and see if he can hire them.
Yeah, what did you say your charisma score was?
14.
Okay. They see you approaching and they say, "Be gone from us. We're busy over here."
Lads, wait. You look like you could work and make some money. And he like jingles. He's got the little pouch of gold. He's like, he jingles. This could all be yours.
One of them scratches his gaunt, skinny face. He says, "What manner of coin is in that bag?"
Well, I guess you'll have to find out. It's enough, I assure you, for a couple of days of your work.
What are you looking for? Detailing? We're not interested in manual labor. Can't you see we're men of fighting caliber?
Well, I was really just hoping you were men who could stand with a torch and maybe knew how to use those swords. But if you're not interested, if you just want to stay here and starve, that's fine.
The one who's not talking hits him on the shoulder. They do a little sidebar. the one who talks, apparently, maybe the older brother or cousin or something like that, straightens up. He says, "I could probably hold a torch. Depends on when exactly we get that money."
And I'll produce 2 of the coins, and I'll say, 2 now, and maybe more when we're done. At least 2 more.
They eye the gold like they're cats watching mice dangled in front of them. And they say, they exchange a glance. And they say, "All right, I think we can do that." Yeah, I think we can do that.
Excellent. And I'll ask if they have names, but if they don't, we can just fade to the background.
Yes, I can give them names. It's now time to decide how silly I want their names to be. One of them is named Foam, the younger one. It appears that they're giving you nicknames instead of their real names. One of them is named Foam, and the other one is named Trunt.
Runt?
Both Trunt with a T. They're both relatively capable of fighting, but it doesn't seem like they're going to be picking up the sword for their employers if they can help it, especially at the rate they're being paid.
Do we know of a place in town that sells arms and armament?
Yes, there is a place in town that sells arms and maybe armament if you're lucky.
Okay. Let's see.
How much is a short sword?
Everything here is going to be book price.
I think it's 6 gold, isn't it?
If I'm not mistaken, in the core book, I believe it's 6.
Yeah. Can I buy one?
Legant, could you please take this these 2 gold pieces and go get spears and any other goods and needs anyone has? Does anyone need anything? No? And also get slings. So that would be I'll give you 4 copper and 4 silver and 2 gold.
Absolutamente. I shall return with the armaments.
Before he leaves, Wolf reaches into his pack. He pulls out 3 gold coins, and he says, "Make sure we have enough rations. Don't want to be going hungry on our journey."
Yes,
I have rations enough.
Located at U is your adventurer's shop and smithy, which is what it's called. Everything there is for sale at standard prices.
Awesome. All right.
As to your rumors, with your gold, you have found 2 specific things. The first thing is that give me a second. Let me just do a quick roll here. Yeah. The first thing is that you found what may have been retired adventurers, but people who certainly seem knowledgeable. They told you that the great dungeon complex on the other side of the Ganfell Swamp was once a mighty underground city built by dwarves called Gunderholfen. It was abandoned centuries ago, and since the dwarves left, all manner of vile monsters, depraved cults, and evil wizards have contested for possession of it. The last known power to rule the mines was a mage named Sethid. Legend has it that Sethid possessed a vast hoard of treasure that he secured in a magically trapped level called the Floating Level. The mines are now home to hordes of evil monsters. Treasure hunters often vanish into the depths of Gunderholfen and are never seen again. You also have heard that the mines were expanded by the evil archmage Sethid and that he still inhabits them. And that there is a secret way to bypass a legendary gray dwarf hold. Your secret to bypass the legendary gray dwarf hold to the fabled floating level where all the treasure can be found.
Okay, those are the 2 main rumors I have discovered?
Yes.
Okay. So just as a curiosity, have they said anything else? Because I noticed they said it was a Dwarven hold. And if I'm not mistaken, the languages I chose were Common and Dwarven. Did they have anything else that might have pertained to the language itself that could possibly give me more information, or is that all they could give?
So you notably have actually not met anybody who's even claimed to have gone to Gunderholfen, let alone claimed to have gone and come back.
Okay, so those are just rumors. Okay. Alright, so I passed those 2 rumors onto Ross. What's your character again?
Florpert?
I passed those rumors along to him, and I'm explaining all that, and I say it's a Dwarven hold, and I make sure to emphasize the fact that there is a way to bypass the rumor of the bypass, but I also make sure to warn that the wizard is possibly still there, and Wolf just says, I don't like magic. Never good when they're old. Trust me.
Well, I have no doubt we'll find the secret passage. Don't worry. And how much is a stay at the inn, or is this an inn, or is it only a tavern?
Yes. So, give me a second. So you are currently at a tavern, but the inn that is, I believe, just next door. You are at C, which is here, and the inn over here. A night there is a silver piece and 5 copper pieces per night for single rooms. Doubles are 2 silver pieces.
All right. Can everyone afford that? Okay. And then, Randall, what is your spell that you're going to memorize for tomorrow?
The one spell that I've decided to memorize is the sleep spell.
Okay.
Good choice.
Does everyone have spears?
I
do
only have a
not.
battle axe.
But
Yeah,
can-
I decided to buy that instead of a short sword.
Okay. Does everyone have shields? The fighters. Okay. Let's
I do.
Let's form a. Oh, you do. Okay. So, let's get that. A
So,
shield.
Florpert, I have a bow and an arrow, and I am, even though I am, a strapping young lad, I only have 3 hit points. I don't want to stand with a shield, unless you really want me to. I would like to keep my movement high and my hands on a bow and arrow.
Did you say 3 hit points?
Yes.
Well, you're 1 more in luck than I am, so you're gonna have to take the
All right.
front rank.
All right. I will get a shield.
I've got 8, so
Yeah.
I guess I'll take a
I'll
shield.
stand behind you.
Let's see.
Yeah,
here.
I'm your meat shield, buddy. That's my job.
A shield is 15.
it's
Oof,
15.
That's rough. I may not be able to do that.
I got
If
it.
you
I
need
got
me-
it.
Well, I was
I
about to
got
say, if you need me to, I have 66 left over.
If we can have all the fighters with shields and spears, they can all move in one doorway, 3 abreast, and you can have right behind you another 3 spears all at once. Depending on how Christopher rules it, you may not be able to cast sleep past it or missile, and that'll be up to Christopher when that comes up. But that's just an option. We don't have to necessarily do that. We may not want to, but that gives us that option of a bristling wall, which we continually need.
You also don't have to be 3 abreast, I
Right.
think, to fill that space and prevent people from coming
Yeah.
past. I think even a single combatant within a 10, or maybe I think 5 foot. But anyway,
Yeah, absolutely. It may not be, but it gives us that option if we have to for some reason. We could do it.
Would you prefer that I swap my longsword for a spear, or would you
Yes.
have a preference? Okay.
And the reason is you can wield a spear with a shield.
From the second rank. Oh, you
From the
can't
first
wield a
rank.
longsword with this field?
You can, but you can't have 3 abreast.
Oh, right. Got you. All right.
Okay, does anybody else need anything else for the journey? Actually, we should ask where this is. So, I'll just ask Woolgar, the tavern keep, before we head to the inn for the night. Woolgar, tell me, where is this dwarven hold?
Wolgar laughs because he knows exactly what you're talking about. He's a little bit. He's sort of an older guy, gruff in appearance, but he's very warm and welcoming to everyone who comes in, except for people who are obviously wealthy. He doesn't. He has this sort of lower class pride to him. He laughs and takes a big drink out of his own personal mug. He says, "Well, it's across the swamp. Just follow the road when you get to your first fork. Take a left, and then that'll bring you north up through the swamp. That should bring you right to it. You can't miss it until you do."
Very well. Wolgar.
He also makes sure to point towards the southwest, like direct you to the southwest gatehouse instead of the southeast gatehouse instead of the west gatehouse, rather.
We'll see you in a few days and be wealthier men, Wolgar. And I show off my gleaming 3 teeth from my mouth. And all right, we bed down for the night and get ready to head out the next day.
It's a cold night, and the winds howl against the windows, the tiny wooden slat windows of the tavern. You wake up bleary-eyed and ready for a day. It's dry out, but not warm. What do you do?
All right, we since he pointed to leave town to the southwest, we'll head that way.
I should clarify. He pointed to the southeast down here. I just got
southeast
my east and west mixed up because I'm a zoomer.
Okay, that makes sense because left would head north, right? So we go to the southeast and we begin to follow that road.
Okay.
Excuse me. If at any point there's like a critical decision and it seems I'm moving too fast, you guys say, whoa, wait a second. Like if I miss a detail or something, please stop me. But if it seems like there's not any apparent choices, I'll try to keep things moving real fast and I'll keep tossing the ball around to you guys.
Sounds good to me.
It's a clear and sunny day, and you can see several miles out. Where do you go?
We continue to follow the road until we try to find since we're going at foot pace, at regular pace, we're looking for the fork.
Right. It's only a few miles down the road before you get to the first fork in the road. Splits to your left, which will lead north, and it also continues going down to the southeast.
Okay. We of course turn to the left. I say.
Okay.
And I take full credit for it. I'm like, I have found it. You see.
These are the path that leads to the north here is a surprisingly well-maintained and ancient road. If you've ever been to Italy or somewhere in Europe, you'll have these old Roman roads, and that's what it's like. It's old craftsmanship, true craftsmanship, and so there are some parts which are maybe potholed or flaking or scaling off, but for the most part, it's really solidly well kept cobblestones. And then so for the purposes of this game, I don't know exactly what the movement for Swords and Wizardry is that you can move 12 miles per day if you're all at movement speed 12, which I assume that you are.
We have one guy in plate, so we're at.
Okay, so you'd be at 9.
I am slow. Yes.
I'm ruling that on roads, the current day humans can walk at an average of 2 miles an hour on flat and even terrain. So that's what I'm calling it on roads. Each of these hexes is about a mile.
I am heavy but fleet of foot.
All right. Well, we'll continue to follow this road, or this old road, until we see something other than marsh, something that might indicate a change in terrain or a difference in direction or any structures that we see. But if we just see marshland and trees, then we'll continue on the path. Since we're on a path, we could stay spread out to deal with anybody that might be ambushing via ranged attack. I would propose that we keep about 10 or 15 foot distance between all of us, and I'll stay in the back and have the magic user in the center.
That works, and I'll pull out my bow and have it ready.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
Yeah.
I will pull out my sling.
And Randall will just go ahead and feel for the darts underneath his old man robes.
Oh man, dart's the most powerful weapon in the game at level 1.
As you travel along, you realize you're going deeper and deeper into a fetid and stinking swamp. This is deep, chaotic, tinged swamp. Longfelt is pretty much the last great settlement this far into sort of wilderness territory at this point, and you can see it as the landscape changes around you. As you keep moving, after about 10 hours of travel, the road starts to peter off a little bit. It becomes less cobblestones and more like flagstones. There is deep water and mud coming through and all around you, so you can tell it's eroded away a little bit around you here.
We've traveled for 10 hours?
Yes.
Okay.
I guess I didn't ask you at what time you left in the morning.
At sunrise, so that would be,
That's
7
what I
a.m.
figured.
or something, 8 a.m. So we're coming up on evening, so we'll come just to the end of our watch, so like maybe, a couple more miles if we don't see anything at that point, looking around in the distance, the sun will be setting at this point, so
Yeah.
I'll go around the table and just check with you all. My proposal is that we set up a camp on the road, because a swamp is not going to be hospitable to that, and it'd be better to face anything coming on a road than anything coming in a swamp for a campfire.
Agreed.
What do you think,
Yeah, sounds good.
Indar? Okay, and Roos?
Wolf just slaps an insect on the back of his neck. Oh, sounds good, lad.
All right. Okay. We'll from this point we'll set up camp and set up watches. Let's see. If each of you could take a hireling, and then the magic user won't take a watch, then we'll have all of the watches of the night covered, I think.
Sounds good to me.
Yep.
What order are you taking those watches in?
So let me get out the hirelings here. It could be Pindar Foam,
Sweet.
and then Florpert Trunt, and then Randall and Legant, and then Wolf will watch the sun rise.
Sounds good to me.
All right.
All right, give me 1 second. Who did you
This
say
is a
was
sort
taking the first watch there?
Oh, sorry,
Pindar.
I didn't mean
Yeah.
for Randall to be up, actually. Randall should be asleep. It should be Pindar with... Actually, Pindar won't have anybody with him, because it's the first watch. And then it would be
Sweet.
Florpert and Foam. And then Legant, Trunt, and then Wolf will watch the sunrise.
Okay. Pendar, during your watch, early into the night, you hear the telltale movement of a large creature that is coming up on your camp.
Okay.
It is less of a stomping or mucking sound, and more of a pushing reeds and a slithering sound.
Okay. So, do we have a torch? What is the light situation? Because all I have is torches.
You have a fire up, so you were able
Okay.
to find many dead trees, standing trees that you can break branches off of and cut down for firewood, despite the wet conditions.
So, Pendar is going to reach into his bag and pull out one of his dried rations, and at the edge of the firelight, he's going to throw it at the edge of the firelight where this creature seems to be coming from, and then he's going to back away and say, "Hey guys, hey, Trunt, wake up! It's time to earn that other gold coin, and be prepared for whatever comes out. Maybe it'll just take the ration and leave. If not,
yeah. Let me check actually. It doesn't seem to take the ration. As it comes into your firelight, it is a massive snake.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna shout, say, "There's a big snake!" And if I can, I'm going to nail it with an arrow from the other side of the fire.
Yeah, Ross, go and roll me a 1d6 for initiative here.
Ooh.
I don't have a battle map set up for random encounters, so it's going to be
good.
theater of the mind. There's a snake.
Right. Not surprised.
No. Oh, tie goes to the runner. You guys go first.
Sweet.
Okay.
First things first, would you like to declare any spells?
I don't have any.
Okay, fine, Ross. I'll go ahead. Old man Randall will wake up and seeing the snake, he'll go, "Ugh, just go back to sleep," and he can't sleep. He'll prepare that.
Because is this part of the previous day?
This
It's
will
part of
be
the first
counted as
watch.
part of the previous day because it's the first watch.
Yeah.
All right. It would be movement and ranged combat. You are all close enough to make it to melee if you want.
Can we just run up to it and coup de grace it because it's asleep, or do we need to?
The sleep will trigger at the end of the combat round.
All right, I'm gonna wait. Unless Pendar is gonna wait. He feels a nagging sensation that he should not rush up, stab this thing.
Is it near any of us?
It is. It's within the head is within the firelight of your camp, so it's probably about 30 feet away or so.
We should fire
Can I ping
everything
it
we
with it?
have at that snake.
Yeah. Can I ping it? Yeah.
All right, 19.
Okay, your armor class to hit is 14.
5
Or
damage.
sorry, 14.
Do I roll both of my ranged attacks now? Or
Yes.
alright, so first one is a hit. Oops, sorry. Okay, try that again. Oh, no. Two damage. And I miss with the second one.
Okay, so a total of 7 damage on it. All right. Anybody want to move into melee with it? Okay, on its initiative order, it will move into melee with you. Who did you say was going to be at the front?
Did everybody fire? Did you fire, John? John, are you there, John? He might AFK. Sorry, go ahead. I apologize.
Oh, you're right. I was just wondering if anybody... John,
If
Hey, I'm not seeing the dice thing on my screen.
Yeah, it's because I don't know what module Ross and Richard have been using. It's not on the left side there. It's underneath your little chat box there. You got a little dice tray.
You guys just type in /R, then 1d20, and it should roll for you as well. Because I'm not sure if there was like an update with Foundry or something, but I think there used to be like by default the thing on the left side, but I'm not sure like if that was a module or there was an update or something.
Oops, that was me. Sorry.
It's
Oh, go ahead.
this game.
Maybe internet trouble. I didn't mean to interrupt you guys. Sorry, what were you saying?
Paused on my.
Yeah, he's having
Yeah,
internet problems.
sorry. That's just because there's no reason to unpause it, so far as I can tell.
Is anyone else in armor, or is Pendar the only one in armor?
I got
Because they were
ring mail.
sleeping.
That's a good point. Depending, I don't think I would be in armor. Yeah.
I think leather armor is realistic you can sleep in, but anything beyond that, probably not.
Alright. Since Pendar was on watch and he is a good lawful fighter, he will try to place himself in between the unarmored folks and the snake. I'm gonna be playing Trunt in a minute, y'all.
Okay, so the snake is going to attempt to bite you.
I have AC 13.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Oh no!
All right, give me 1 second here.
It makes you feel any better. I've got the same AC in armor.
All right, I have to double check because monsters have specific tables that they have to roll from. Because it is a bonus to hit per hit dice, right?
Yeah.
It's oh gosh, whatever. Okay, so he rolled an 8.
Excellent. Still up.
His fangs glance off of your plate armor, or your ring armor rather. It is now spell turn, or melee turn, I guess. Is anybody engaging in melee?
I'll stab it with my spear.
Okay, give me your attack roll. Wonderful.
Just as curiosity, did I get a spear as well? Because I had to step away whenever we were doing that. Sorry, I kind of forgot to ask that earlier.
You could go ahead and subtract the gold and say you bought one. I don't see any problem with
Okay. Thank you.
that. Okay.
4 damage. Does that make a dent?
It does. He is going to make a morale check.
Yes, you nasty serpent.
Which he will pass. You are apparently within his territory. Spells.
Yeah, so Randall finished just casting his sleep spell, and according to the description, it does not require a saving throw. So,
Correct.
And depending on the hit dice, it affects, well, just from finishing one, it's always guaranteed to do at least one, so it puts it to sleep.
So that actually brings a good question that I had a discussion with somebody. So this might be a bit of a tangent. You're right. It'll put him to sleep because he has 4 hit dice. But with this little table, it says less than 1 to 1, and then numbers affected, and then 1 plus to 2 plus numbers affected, 3 to 3 plus, and then 4 to 4 plus. I would read that as saying 4 to under 5 would be 1 affected, and then 5 or above doesn't get slept by that. That's how I would read that, because it would be 3 to 3.
That is a fact.
3...
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Above, and that applies to several other spells too. Once they're at a certain hit dice, they're not affected.
They're just not affected. Okay, cool.
Okay.
I just wanted to make sure I was getting that right, or at least have people agree with me. So the snake does fall asleep despite being a nocturnal creature, and you realize your spell has had a truly magical effect on it. I assume you guys finish it off and you gut it.
I was gonna ask. Can I just walk up and just fucking take my spear and go right between the eyes?
Yep.
Just.
Yeah, things that are turned or slept or paralyzed in some way. Realistically, you just walk up and start slitting throats.
I just look at everyone and I go, "This will make good meat. Also, nice cloak for me."
If you choose to gut it and skin it, you realize that the much of the meat is quite rancid. It appears that tucked in the actual body of the snake are many poisonous, venomous sacs from which it apparently draws venom. The rest of your night, the rest of your watches pass uneventfully, and before you know it, the great birds of the swamp are singing in your ears, and it's time to wake up again.
All right.
Just if I'm interrupting people, please stop me. I apologize. But if possible, can I take one of the venom sacs from it, like harvest it, or is that out of the question?
Yeah, I mean, with careful cutting, I think you can get at least a few, one or two. The sacs themselves have sort of a rubbery texture to them, and so they're not super. You wouldn't really. It would be hard to puncture them. You'd have to actually like stab it and puncture it. You can't just sort. It doesn't just like rip open. They're like turtle eggs. You ever felt turtle eggs?
Oh yes, I have. I have. So if I take out a few of those, I'm gonna give one to each of the fighters and tell them, if you need an extra bite on your blade, use this. Done it before. Just don't eat anything afterwards after you do that. It's not fun.
Nice.
Yeah. So this is HP damage poison. This isn't death poison, which is 3d6 points of poison damage.
Oh.
You find salvageable. You find 2 sacks.
Awesome.
All right. It is now morning. I assume that you continue down the road to the north.
Randall, what spell are you picking today?
I feel like just sticking with sleep is honestly a good option, since there are like a handful I could use, but like situational sleep just seems to be the most. Yeah.
Yeah, we don't know what monsters await in Gunderholfen. So, if it were undead, of course we wouldn't want to do that, but we don't know, and we still may have long to travel. So, yes, unless anyone has any other ideas or things to consider, we continue.
None that I can think of, personally.
As you travel along to the north, before long, you see a great copse of trees in a hilly area with one especially large hill standing out amongst some slightly smaller foothills.
It awaits. Looks like we've found what we're looking for, lads. He licks his 2 upper teeth. Does it look like it's a large open entrance? Does it does it resemble that? What does the entrance look like? Or are we too far away?
From this distance, you can see the aptly named Gunderholfen Hill.
Okay.
It is mostly covered in timber, but you can see the hill off in the distance. It's a pretty big hill. It's pretty obvious which one you're looking for.
Okay. We'll travel close enough to the entrance, within 100 yards, so that we can examine it.
Yeah, so you stand at the base of this great hill, and you see dotting the side of the hill, there are some twisted, alien, chaotic tinged trees, and some things which are not of civilized lands. There are various humanoid corpses, or maybe what might be corpses if all the pieces were still there. There are larger than any human's bones strewn about sort of to the east, and up quite a bit a ways up the hill, you see what looks to be some sort of created structure, some sort of man-made or perhaps chaotically made structure.
Ooh.
This is on the south side of the hill.
Ooh. Choices. Okay,
Out
so
of curiosity. Oh, sorry.
let me clarify something really quick, and then I'm going to toss the ball over to Roos. So, it doesn't necessarily look like this picture, right? So we've got the hill.
No.
We've got corpses and gnarly stuff at the bottom of the hill. At the top of the hill is a structure.
About halfway up the hill is what looks to
Okay.
be a structure, not natural.
All right, then I'm going to make a proposal here for what to do. It's going to take some time. I'm going to toss the ball over to Roos. So I say that we should actually examine the bodies for clues of what's happened here. And then we should go up the hill. That's what I propose of y'all. Think about it. Roos, what we're going to say.
I was going to ask, while we're standing here observing that, and I will say that's a good idea, and I'll go with that. But this man-made structure that you said was at the south side of the hill, right? At the bottom, at the base?
The man-made structure is about halfway up the hill. That's what you're seeing.
Okay. Out of curiosity, does it look like it was maybe made with like some of the ruins, possibly, or does it look like a completely man-made structure?
From this distance, it looks like it's probably ruins. You can't see any sort of doors or roofs, which is pretty much a telltale sign.
Okay. So I would say, whenever Ross mentioned that, I do believe we should examine the bodies, because you said some of these look larger than humans.
Yeah, some of there are a number of bleached bones a little bit off to the east at the base of the hill that are certainly larger than any human could possibly be. What you would identify as a leg bone of some sort, maybe a femur, is probably 120% the size of a normal human's, and it's far heavier than you would expect a bone to be. It seems a lot denser than your average bone. Some of the bodies, or the remains, the bits strewn about, it's hard to make anything in particular out, but most of what you're seeing is not human or even civil or lawful meat. You're seeing twisted, chaotic, foul-smelling meat, which is mostly spoiled and rotting at the base of this hill. There is also some bits of skin and some bits of hide.
Okay, questions. Number one, does it look like there are any remains? And what I mean is stuff, objects, broken pottery, the indication that objects have been tossed out among the bodies. That's my first question.
It doesn't really appear so.
Okay.
Maybe this ground is spongy earth. It's not quite swamp, but it's also not quite stone or packed earth, and so maybe stuff might have sifted down in some way, but it's hard to tell.
Do some of the smaller bone, does it look like there are also smaller bones, like multiple different kinds of bones? Or is it mostly this weird bone, and then there's also fetid, rotten, meat, bodies?
Yeah, so there are bleached bones to the east, which are...
I'm sorry, a different location, okay.
Yep, there are different locations. It's a large strewn pile of gross meat that's torn, and then there's that noticeable bone, a couple of smaller yet denser, yet like as dense bones, and then a bunch of splinters of what looks like bone.
Looking up the top of the hill, does it look as if these physically, is it possible that the bodies were cast off the hill? Is it physically possible, or do you look at the hill and you're like, that wouldn't have been possible? Like, that would have...
You would probably rule that out, because there's a heavy underbrush, which has not been in any way trampled except for a few set paths.
All right, guys, my thinking here is to gain a clue of this. We need to really understand why there are a bunch of massacred people here right now that are fresh. So, if you guys...
fresh is a bit of an overstatement, I think.
But there's still meat. It's still...
Yeah, that's true.
So within weeks, or, hasn't been eaten up yet. Something happened. So, I don't know, Legant, if you have any ideas. My last idea is, does it look like or can we tell from the bodies that they've been ripped, torn, sliced? Is there any evidence of, or is it just like carnal? This looks like
You can identify all three of those in different occasions.
charnel, not carnal. Sorry, charnel.
It's also quite carnal. You can identify them in different. Okay, you can see clean cuts, and you can see crushed bones and bruised hide. You can see torn skin, and you can also see ripped meat. All sorts.
Something awful has massacred a group of humanoids. Okay. Do you guys have any other questions or ideas before we move on?
I just think the bodies basically were dragged out of the dungeon, like the dungeon dwellers basically took everything they got off the bodies and just dragged them out, just put them here. So they didn't have any way to dispose of them in the dungeon, but just like kind of left them here without going too far from the main entrance.
I don't think so. They would have had to. First of all, we would see a trail. Unless are there wagon tracks?
Sorry, I should clarify. There are at least 2 or 3 trails of packed undergrowth going up to near where those ruins are.
Okay, there you go. Okay, yeah, so it could be possible. Either someone tried to siege the place and they were massacred, or something happened in the place and they were tossed out. Okay, so
I would say they did not have a sleep spell at their disposal. It looks to me.
yeah, we have 1 nuke. We better use it right. Okay, let's see. Let's take the lesser used of the. You said there are 2 paths?
Yes.
Let's use the lesser used one, the one that's overgrown and covered in thorn.
Okay. So that is going to bring you up. Sorry, give me 1 second here. It's quite a ways. It's probably about 30 feet of winding hiking. It's clear that there's not any order to this sort of I guess.
Right. It's not developed, yeah.
Yeah.
Monster, beast, or animal trail path. So.
Right. Especially quite chaotic paths. So not only that, just stuff that doesn't really make sense, doubling backward for no reason it should be. It almost seems that the monsters who made this trail, or the beasts who made this trail, aren't really used to being outside very much, and only really come out when they have to, and maybe even tread different trails every time they come out. Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, so possibility of nocturnal activity, or possibly just sunlight avoidance in a way.
It's hard to say at this point.
Yeah.
Here I toss a vote. I actually think that we should follow this, lesser used path. I would rather surprise something unintelligent I don't want to see than to not surprise something that is intelligent.
No, I agree with that. Especially since, like you just said, it seems like they're not used to traveling in sunlight. There's a possibility we could surprise them.
Yes.
If we wait till nightfall, there's a good chance they might have an advantage.
Yes.
What time is it now?
You traveled 8 hours to get here from when you woke up.
Okay, cool.
So about mid-afternoon, maybe. I don't know when we got up.
Yes, sunrise at this time of year is pretty early, probably 5:30, 5:45-ish. That's sort of when it's gray enough to be reasonable to be active.
What's about late afternoon?
Do you want to head up closer to the ruins?
From the trail, does it look like it leads to that?
Yes, so this trail, all of the trails seem to lead up to those ruins, so far as you can tell.
Okay, yeah, we approach the ruins.
Okay. These
John,
ruins are
John,
made
were
out
you
of-
saying something? I'm sorry. Did I miss it?
Oh no, it's just about late afternoon. Then
Okay,
I would imagine
gotcha.
3 o'clock or something.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Christopher.
No, these ruins, it would appear, are made out of a sandy-colored stone that seems to be congruous with the hill. You've noticed there's a few different colors of stone which are jutting out from different areas of the hill. In certain valleys and paths which go to the north, you see a black or dark gray stone. Actually, I gotta make sure that this is right. Hold on. On the south side of the hill, it's sandy-colored stone. On the west side of the hill, it is a black or dark grayish stone. And then seeing further through paths to the north are also dark gray and black. So the ruins on the south side of this hill are made of this sandy colored stone. It's mostly what looks to be completely destroyed buildings. So there is really nothing here of value, or even nothing necessarily recognizable. You suspect, however, that even if something here was recognizable, it would be alien to you due to the nature
Right.
of this place.
Yeah, sandstone. That means that it's not going to be a humanoid. It's going to be some sort of critter or something. Okay, so here's my proposal. Actually, I'll just call this one. Let's go to the nearest ruin. Between the west and the north, whichever one is nearest.
The nearest one is well, okay. So you are on the south side, and you can see there's ruins on the south. There, you can also see from where you are that there are ruins to the west, but you are closest to the ones that are on the south-facing side. Of
The ones with
hill.
the sandstone, right?
Yep.
Okay, we'll go to the west one then.
Okay. So the west-facing ruins. There, conspicuously, is no paths leading from the south ruins to the west ruins at all. It may be a number of different things, but that's what you notice right out the gate. You have to trod basically completely untamed land in order to get over to that point.
Okay. I'm down with that. Does anybody speak Dwarven?
I do.
You do, thank God. Okay, thank the light. Okay, great.
What's even funnier is I chose Dwarven just because I thought it was funny. Kind of didn't realize this was a Dwarven ruin.
Great. Okay. Yeah, let's approach the ruins on the west-facing ruins, hacking our way through the overgrowth to reach it.
Yeah.
These ruins are dark stone, you said?
Yes. Yeah, a roughly hewn rock of a dark gray or blackish color. So in these ruins, you actually find something quite interesting. You find the first tinges of civilization since you've been out in the swamps. There are broken spear hafts and broken arrow hafts. There appear to be shattered shields and examples of campfires and maybe even bedrolls.
The remnants of a former adventure party. I was told not many returned.
No bodies.
No bodies.
Are there a lot of weapons?
No, not really. There's a lot of arrow hafts.
Gotcha.
And a few broken spear shafts.
Okay. Excellent.
Do Do any of the weapons look suspiciously unrusted?
They're not rusted because they're very crude. They're mostly made. The actual implements are mostly made of stone, or some sort of twisted blackish metal, which you find to be probably unrustable. Maybe it's a patina, or maybe it's something more sinister.
The Grey
Out of
Dwarves.
curiosity. Okay, yes. I was going to ask him, because of the fact I speak Dwarven, would you say there's anything here that might stand out to me since I've learned the language, possibly? Maybe something of... maybe Dwarvish architecture, or maybe something else that might point to something? Or...
This was probably Dwarvish architecture at one point in time, but it is so beyond ruined that it is really hard to make out any particular influences and styles of Dwarvish or any other civilized make. What you're looking at here is definitionally ruined.
All right. Let's go and take a look at the entrance.
Yeah, give me just 1 second. So there's not, so far as you can tell, at these ruins, an entrance. It appears to be
These are above ground. It's not an entrance.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, this was once an above ground building of some sort.
I see. Okay. There's no remaining furnishings or nothing like that. It's just all. It's almost molded into the ground at this point. It's just
Yeah, in fact, actually, as you mentioned that, you notice there's no ground on there's no like flooring
Sunken.
on the floor,
Okay.
but much of the walls have begun to sunk into the surrounding earth.
Ancient. Okay. Well, let's continue on then to the north ruin.
Yes, the North Ruin. Let's see. I have to make sure I'm getting all my stuff correct. You are standing on the side of the hill, and there is sort of a valley or a gully that intersects. There's two hills that intersect together, and there's a bunch of trees down there, and then there's a clearing where you are, surrounded by trees, and you are in the midst of blackish gray ruins from a structure which has apparently fallen over at some point in time. In such a way which has presented itself to be difficult terrain. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
And you said that we saw no path going from the west ruins into that sandy stone stuff. What about this one?
It's exactly the same. There's no paths. And it doesn't look like there's any. It's probably a good 100 yards from ruin to ruin at this rate, and there's no sign of people from or anything moving from either of the ruins to any of the other ruins.
All right, door number 3. Let's check out the sandstone.
Yeah, so in the area with the sandstone ruins. Here.
So let's see, that's been 900. That's been approximately an hour and a half that we've been traveling.
So what catches your eye is not the ruins which you've been to, which you pathed up to at the first point. What catches your eye is there's a small valley a little bit further to the south before it picks back up and then goes back down another hill. You pass through this valley on your way up initially from where you found the bones and the meat, but looking back down at it, you see what looks to be some sort of carved into the rock edifice.
Okay. If they're, let's identify. When you say edifice, a hole, a face, a bas relief.
It is a protrusion, but from this distance, you can't really tell precisely what it is.
All right. We don't see from these sandstone ruins no holes or nothing on the ground. Nothing of note amongst this sandstone, right?
No, not as far as you can tell.
All right. Let's go check out that edifice.
Yeah, as you get closer, you realize what you were looking at from the hilltop is a massive snake's mouth carved into the side of the rock. Its fangs hang down at an angle, ready to strike. Jaws spread wide. The fangs are actually framing a tunnel leading into the darkness, a small trickle of water flowing out down the hill. The tunnel slopes gently up.
Okay.
This is the kind of thing we are looking for, no?
I say we draw lots, requiring not our hirelings to do so, of who should enter the mouth first and wait for a moment, and then we follow. We got a tomb of horror. This.
Lord, I elect you. I nominate you.
You are the most experienced.
You are the thief. You are the great
Everybody
leader.
says that. He's like, yes, and in my experience, we draw lots. And he's just like, and then everybody just throws him in there. He goes in.
Yeah, the tunnel is all carved sandstone, and it gently slopes upwards. Are you holding any light source?
Yeah, as it starts to darken, I will light a torch.
Remind me what the draw range of a torch is.
30 feet.
You can see 30 feet into the darkness before it. You can't see any further.
That's right.
Does the tunnel go north or south?
The tunnel. Oh gosh, that's a good question. You are. Yeah, so the tunnel takes a slight left and starts leading north back into the larger hill structure.
Sweet. Is it 10 feet wide?
Give or take.
Okay, cool.
Okay. All right, if nothing happens to me, I motion for everyone else. All right, you fools, I have checked it out. Follow me. I mean, actually, fighters, go ahead.
When a log trap takes you out.
The tunnel continues for another 50 feet before at the edge of or 50 feet, another 30 feet before at the edge of your torchlight, you can see a door of some sort. It's still dimly in the shadows, so you'd have to get a little bit closer. But at this point, there has been no traps, log or otherwise.
Okay.
I'll take point, and I'll approach the door slowly and cautiously. As I approach, do I make out any maybe runes or possibly any warnings? They could be human, common, or dwarven otherwise. Anything that might give it away as to what the origin of this is?
Nothing as to the origin. You do see painted on the walls with some sort of white paint. There are crudely drawn skulls and some crossbones as well. Also very crudely drawn.
Okay. I do point that out to anyone who is in my immediate vicinity. I believe whoever went through here is trying to warn us. Or possibly whoever's taken up residence here is trying to ward us off. I don't know what possibly could it be, but I suppose the only way to find out is to go forward.
Okay. I'll take the turn to try to hear sounds. I have a 3 and 6. Everyone else, some people need to guard the way in, and otherwise, if other people could examine the walls for secret doors.
I'll watch the entrance since I don't have anything to help with that.
Yeah, I'll also watch the entrance.
Listening further down into the tunnel, it is deathly quiet.
All right. Let's see. I went first. Who wants to go next and open that door? All right.
All right.
Pindar.
Yeah, Pendar stands up and says, here goes nothing. And he just
Wait,
grabs the handle.
Wait, does the thief think the door is safe?
I listened
Pindar
at it, but yeah, I mean, obviously, I should
Pendar
start.
shrugs.
We should start with this. Let's look at the door. Like, what does the door look like, and what do the edges look like? I don't intend to check it for traps because it would take more time. Another turn.
What you are looking at is a heavy wooden door. It's covered in moss. Absolutely chock-a-block with it.
Okay.
Does it
And
look like it's stuck?
not so far as you can tell. It's just very mossy on
Okay.
this side of the door. It's probably because warm, wet winds blow through this cave. But there is let's see. There's an iron pull ring set on the right side of the door, so that would be your left, right? And then it looks like it pulls out towards you.
Before I yank on this door, just because I'm curious, is this like a finished cave, or is it just an unfinished limestone cave?
This looks. It sort of depends on what you mean. It is hewn straight from the rock, and it's
Okay.
not like engraved or carved in any way, but it is relatively smooth as far as hewing stuff from rock goes.
And that's the case all the way around the door, so there's no big gaps or a chasm or something up above the door
Yeah,
or anything
no,
like that.
the door fits pretty snugly, especially since there is moss. Especially since there's moss filling in the various doorways.
And the moss, does it look like it's covered over the door threshold, indicating that it hasn't been opened in some time?
No, it does look like it was opened,
There you go.
but it looks like it's going from the door to the cave wall. But yes, it looks like it's possible to open. It has recently been opened.
Do we have 10 feet among us, or is this a narrow passage?
This is it is actually widened since you've come in, so
All right.
you've got plenty of room.
So,
Yeah, Pendar, pull it open.
Wait.
fine with that.
Before you open it, all of us train all of our ranged weapons on that door, and you just pull it open because it comes toward us, and then there you go.
Yeah, that works for me.
Okay.
I will yank it open and stand behind it as I'm opening it.
Okay, give me 1 second.
You are so brave, Prinda.
That's what my mother always told me.
All right, moment of truth, y'all.
This is a big map, isn't it? It's taking a while to load.
It's a sort
Chonky.
of a fancy map. Maybe
Oh.
I should include less resolution, but
Ooh, nice.
Ooh.
I transcribed all of the maps from the book into Dungeon Scrawl, so I hope that they're okay.
Whoa.
Nice.
So you are in this tunnel. This is the aforementioned cave. The door is up here.
Oh,
So each of these squares is 5 feet.
Sweet.
That's your party token.
Okay. Yeah, we'll do that. We will create a fan of death, and then he'll open the door toward the wall, and we'll be prepared for anything on the other side.
Okay. Give me 1 second. Okay. So you open the door. You should probably be able to see 15, 20. Yeah, you should be able to see more than that. I'm sorry. There you go.
Ooh.
Inside the room are 3 sort of small, misshapen humanoids. You are not surprised, and they are not surprised. So go ahead and roll for initiative as they shriek a warning in their chaotic tongue.
Kill them all!
Let me pop your tokens on the board here.
Yeah, 6.
Woo!
Yeah, so that's automatic initiative because I can't beat that. All right, so there's Pendar, Randall, Wolf, Florpert. We're gonna have a OSR token up here. And John, I still don't have a token art for you, but that's you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's all 5. You are welcome to change your battle formation into whichever you like, but go ahead and declare spells now, if you choose to do so.
I think it's a bit preemptive to use the nuke now, so I will refrain from wasting my 1 spell and just prepare my darts.
These misshapen humanoids are carrying spiked clubs, and I don't think they're wearing anything. No, they're just carrying spiked clubs. All right, movement and missile fire. Oh gosh, this is so embarrassing. Wolf, your token is supposed to be different. I had a.
Alright, so looking at the rate of fire for darts, I completely actually missed this. Apparently I can fire 3 in 1 round, I think.
Yes, you can.
What's the
Okay.
target AC?
Target AC. Oh, that's a really good question. This book has it all in ascending or descending.
Yeah,
So I have
20
to
minus.
translate.
So if it's,
Is that really that
so
easy?
Yeah, so if it's 20 minus 6, it's...
Oh, okay, 13.
Yeah.
I've been using a table.
Okay, so 13?
Yeah.
Okay, so I got 2 hits.
I do 6 damage to this one right here.
Can you ping that one again? The one in the
Sure,
front.
it's the one at the top.
Okay.
Yep.
Describe how you kill him.
I like shoot him in the groin, and then I go, and then I like fire it in his center of mass, and it gets him like in the head, in the back of the head as he's leaning over, and I'm like, I told you, fools.
Excellent. And that one died too.
This one I hit for 6 damage, and Pendar just he fires 1 shot and goes over the shoulder, and then the other one hits him in the throat.
All right. Did anybody get this guy?
I think, yeah, so from my angle, I think I was like Randall was trying to aim for that guy. I hit him total for 5 damage with my 2 darts.
Okay, excellent. They all. You know what? Oh. Could they have been able to shriek if you all managed to nuke them in the first turn here?
They're not
I'm gonna s-
surprised, so yeah, I think they can.
They're not surprised, so I think they are, right? Okay. So they yelled, made a fair bit of noise, but they're now dead. What do you do?
We need to secure this room. Let's move further in first. and check the ceiling and the floors. Is there anything strange about the floor or anything above us?
Yeah, so this is about 18 feet high ceiling. The floors are made of packed dirt, I believe. Let me say. So I'm going to say packed dirt. And the doors appear to be made of heavy wood with iron banding on them. Nothing immediately jumps out at you. On either side, north and south walls, there are alcoves which contain small statues. Each contains a clay statue of a snake-headed humanoid. Both statues are chipped, worn, and in poor condition. And then on the east door, a crude skull is painted in white paint.
Okay. Immediate thought, y'all, is it sounds like we're safe having checked the floor and ceiling, except that something might trigger this line right here because those creatures were on the other side of the line. And they look like tricky creatures. So, ideas to verify that these aren't traps, but to do it quickly. I'm going to throw this one out there and let's go around. My thought is that we just fan out to either side because they haven't shot anything at us yet or anything like that. And we use the spears, or if you have 10-foot poles, you can gain more distance so that if you trigger a trap, you're going to be there with a spear. But if you have a 10-foot pole, you could stay away from the grid with it. And let's poke on either side without crossing in the center of this and triggering what might happen, if that's the case. What do you think? I'm going to start with Legant.
Yes, I will poke with my spear. It is all I have.
Okay. What do you think about this, Randall?
Randall actually does have a 10-foot pole, and he agrees to this. He'll go ahead and poke. He'll go ahead over to the south side and poke that one.
Okay, does anyone else have a 10-foot pole? No. Okay. Yeah, Legant and Randall, could you guys poke those before we move any further?
Oh yes. I am poking.
What we will do is take the time to check the floor in the center to see if anything could trigger something. If this takes 10 minutes, we'll take that time.
No. Checking the floor is obvious that there doesn't appear to be any lines or plates to step on or break. The pots are in such poor condition that one of them actually crumbles a little bit when you touch it with a 10-foot pole. But they are, I say pots, they're statues. They're smaller than life size, but they are larger than canoptic jars. They don't appear to hold any particular value except that which is artistic, which also happens to be long gone as far as value goes.
Okay. Do you guys want to smash them and see if there's anything useful in them?
Hell yeah.
Yes.
This will probably make a reasonable amount of noise.
Oh. Okay.
I have a blanket.
Well,
I can silence it with my big sack. Maybe it will stifle the noise a little.
we could also pocket them and then smash them outside. How much do they weigh?
Oh gosh. These are probably up to the average person's belly button.
Okay.
And they're made of relatively thin clay, but clay is still not super light.
Yeah.
Well, let's do this. I'll go to this door and I'll examine it for traps. Meanwhile, if somebody has a hammer and pythons and stuff like that, take the full 10 minutes, since I'm going to take the time at the door, to chip away at these. Everybody else, so that would be, if I'm sure somebody has a hammer, but that would be Legant, and there you go, and Randall. And then meanwhile, everybody else, Pindar and Wolf, if you could check these bodies.
Sounds good.
I have I'm sorry, actually, to delicate tasks and traps is at 20%.
Okay. All right. So first things first. On the bodies, each of the kobolds carry 10 copper pieces. They also have spiked clubs, which are probably worthless. And then they also carry little knickknacks, charms made of bone and things like that, which are also probably worthless. Then in the clay jars or the clay statues, it appears to be nothing of value except for a whole lot of dust.
Okay.
And then the door does not appear to have any traps, mechanisms, or even a lock. It is a push door.
Okay.
From this side.
The next, so first of all, maybe for the fetishes and charms of these creatures, Wolf, would you like them so that the next time you see them, you can cast them at your enemies and tell them of what fate awaits them?
Of course.
Yeah, you can get a bunch of the bones and toenails and stuff that they've strung up here.
Yeah.
Let's do the same thing and form a fan on this door. Like, I can't draw. But it'd be like, someone here and someone here. And the next person up to open the door would be Legaunt. Randall, we are going to protect our precious nuclear child. We need him.
This is not a representative of how you guys are actually formed. But opening the door reveals nothing immediately obvious in the hallway. There is a set of stairs that leads down.
There's nothing immediately peculiar about the floor?
No. The stairs are made of sort of old rotting wood. But they seem sturdy enough to be able to walk on.
Okay, what does the ceiling look like?
Ceiling is sloped carved stone. It's about 12 feet high. And
That's pretty
doesn't appear to have any engraving or even necessarily smoothing. It's actually pretty roughly hewn stone.
Alright, let's just continue down this L-shaped corridor till we come to the next intersection, or the next, whatever.
Okay, and who is walking first? Remind me.
It should be the fighters. It should be Legaunt, Wolf, and Pindar. Now, if we have 10 feet, Pindar, if you want to stay kind of like tight ends, you could be on the left, and then I could be on the right. I get...
I also...
Oh.
Before anyone steps on the stairs, I heard they were rotten. How rotten?
They're mostly, what I meant by that was they're mostly crude. So they're lashed together with plant fibers, and they're little more than logs that are stuck together.
But they'll hold our weight. It looks like they will.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. That's fine.
So if we had Legaunt and Wolf, and then Florpert and Pindar to the side, and Randall in the back, and then Foam and Trunt would be directly behind Legaunt and Wolf.
Okay.
Meaning in the same grid in the second rank.
All right. So it's Pendar and Legaunt are the first two through.
No, Pindar would be off to the side. The first two through would be Legaunt and Wolf.
Okay, I'm so sorry. So as Legaunt and Wolf head down the stairs, as they get to the bottom of the stairs, they have sprung a pit trap at the bottom of the stairs. Would you make a save for me, both of you?
You guys get a plus 2, I think.
Yes, plus 2 to anything that's not spells.
Yeah, we just have to make the saving throw we have on our sheet, correct?
Yes, you have to beat that number.
Okay.
Or meet it.
20.
And meet or beat, yeah.
Plus what did you say, Ross?
Plus 2.
Oh yeah. Woo.
Yeah, and my saving throw is 15, guys. Got so lucky.
Alas, Lagant is not quite fast enough. He falls about 10 feet, and he takes 2 damage. It's a quite easy affair to get him out, and there doesn't appear to be anything in the pit trap, treasure or danger.
Okay. Are you still alive down there?
I am all right. I'm
Ah.
a bit bruised up. I'm a bit banged up.
All right, let's quit wasting time then. Like pull him out and try to keep going.
I am sorry, Flop. I will try to be less plum.
At the end of the hallway is another door with a pull ring.
Okay. Here I want to, on the matter of pacing, like, let's see, we have about a little less than an hour of real time left. And this is a fairly short corridor. I actually propose that we take 10 minutes and I try to check the door. That's that.
Hey, Christopher, I've got a token for you, by the way. I posted
Oh,
in our...
awesome.
I'll be right back. I gotta step away for a second.
All right. So I want to kind of leave this up to the vote as an SOP. My proposed SOP is in here where it's kind of defensible, in my opinion. So like we could go back and we could either hold this door or we could go back and hold this corridor in this L intersection at the base of the stairs. For that reason, we could take our time here. That's my thinking. In other situations, it might be, let's get out of here quickly, and then we wouldn't take 10 minutes, if something was around. So that's my plan. I want to kind of go around. This is a matter of when would you listen at a door, when would you check a door. Obviously, we'll always look, but I'm talking about actually using like the thief skills, right? Which takes time. What do you think, Randall?
I think yes, and considering our we can easily defend this position, it makes sense to actually check the door, since it seems like they actually set up traps here and there, and especially we get deeper, it looks like it's getting more defensive. So it makes more sense to start actually checking more of the doors and check and make sure there's not any traps. So we should be more attentive and try to check more stuff.
Like if you're in an open area that has 10 doors around you, then you don't need to be hanging out there if stuff can come through doors, right? Like you need to get out of there. But here we can hold it, I think. Anyways, Lagant, what do you think, and how many hit points do you have?
I have four hit points left.
Gotcha. Still beefy. All right. And does that sound okay as far as when we would check? So we're not always going to check, as what and basically I'll never check a floor unless we need to proceed with caution because we have a reason. But we'll always look, but we won't always poke with the 10-foot pole from Randall, is my thinking, because that will slow us down.
Right.
Unless we have evidence. Oh wait, there's a slime trail. Oh gosh, okay.
Right.
Or there, if we have a reason, yeah. Because otherwise it'll. And how would you rule that, Christopher? If we did use the 10-foot pole and poked, what would you say?
I would count that as just cautious dungeon movement.
Oh, in that case, we will. In that
I
case,
mean, if doing something special, you want to do you ever see those videos of guys who check for dry rot around window frames and stuff like that? He's tapping on everything. That's what I'm thinking is going to take more time. But if you're just walking and tapping in front of you, I don't see that as being much of a problem.
Oh, hey,
It wouldn't be louder than us marching, would it?
No.
Oh, hey, Lagant, take this 10-foot pole from Randall.
Gladly.
Okay. All
Yes,
right.
I do not want to fall again.
Yeah. Okay, I go up to this door and I have 30% delicate tasks and traps. Let me make sure. No, I'm sorry. 20%. Sorry.
Okay.
And while we're doing that, since that takes time, would you guys please check the walls for secret doors? And then have 2 people behind watching.
I am
Yeah,
bad
so-
at checking for secret doors, so I can watch.
There doesn't appear to be anything notable around you. These walls are really easy to tell if there's something amiss because it's all pretty uniform
Right.
carving.
That's good
And
to know.
so, that has actually been consistent since you started walking into the tunnel way at the snake mouth. The door itself seems completely normal.
Okay. The next person up to open the door is Wolf. Are you back,
Okay.
Bruce? Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah,
In
All
this, since we have 10 feet, we should still have... Actually, we don't have enough room, so we will have one person ready to fire, and then two people next to him opening the door with spears and shields. And then we have the second rank with foam and trunt and magic user in the back, and then me behind, next to the magic user.
I
So
go and
assume it's like this, give or take.
Yeah.
I slightly open the door and then just open it.
All right. Okay. Neither group is surprised, but in the middle of this long room that extends well past your torchlight, lie two of the same malformed, chaotic, touched small humanoids. They beat on their chests and they get ready to charge. Roll for initiative, please.
Ooh. Ooh.
Rough.
Brutal. So they're gonna please declare spells for me if you'd like to.
Again, this seems kind of like a bit preemptive to use a powerful spell for two of these creatures, so I'll hold off on spell for the moment.
Okay. And actually, I didn't have the time or wherewithal to do this, but in this room, it's actually illuminated. It's actually completely illuminated because there are burning braziers on the east side of the hallway there. So these guys are going to scream and charge at you. They are holding clubs, I believe. They're holding they have short swords at their sides and they're holding spears, and they're actually going to launch their spears at you first. They are going to it would appear that none of them hit. Does a 5 or sorry, does a 3 or a 2 hit anybody? Just
It doesn't even hit me.
They are apparently terrified because they missed by a country mile. It is now movement and missile weapons for you guys.
All right. So Wolf, I think, should be ready to fire a missile right away, if you prefer. Everyone else, I think we ought to just move up and attack. I don't know how you rule it, Christopher. Do you do missile volleys followed by movement, or do you move and then have a chance in the first round of, I don't
If I'm reading correctly the Swords and Wizardry combat rules, it's missile fire, movement, missile fire, melee. Right, so there's a missile fire at the top of the movement order, and then at the bottom of the movement order as well.
Gotcha. Yeah. Makes
Since
sense.
they've already used their movement missile fire phase, you can walk up in melee at this point
I will.
with no change of phase in between.
I think Wolf should be able to. And I suppose there's two fighters up front that could as well. I'll move because I'm not going to be able to. Oh, the game's paused.
How do I unpause it?
Press spacebar.
Press
Space
space.
bar.
Okay, there you go. I was wondering why you guys couldn't move your guys. Oops.
Oh.
And actually, if you
Yeah.
guys are going to move to that grid, I'm going to... Are there two of them, or is that a third one right there?
There's two of them. That would be your OSR token
Okay.
for vision, because I didn't want to do individual vision.
Where's this person? Who is that person? Pindar? Where are you going to go, Pindar?
Right here. I'm just going to the side of this guy
Oh,
so I can
Drats.
get him.
Okay. Is anyone else...
Is that bad?
No, it's fine.
I
Is,
can-
No, it's
Yeah.
fine. Is anybody else moving?
I will.
I'm
move up
charging
to-
with my spear.
I was about to say I'll charge with my spear as well.
Okay, where
Yep.
is John's token?
I'm the Frenchman.
He is the
With the great
handsome
hair.
one. He's handsome Squidward right here.
Okay.
Nice.
Can you guys? Okay, so
I do-
oh, go ahead.
I do 3 damage against this guy. Pendar runs up. He's got a shield out. He's got a spear. And he just like jabs it into this thing's belly. Assuming 18 hits.
Well,
Yes, yeah.
we haven't gotten to melee yet.
Oh shit! Sorry.
That's
I'll,
okay. That's why I was waiting to see who would move because I'm trying to who is moving up because it'll depend on like where everybody kind of goes. I'm just trying to see. Are you guys gonna like move and stop short?
I just can't move further. I'm trying. My intention is somebody can move my guy. I'll go on up and attack.
Okay. I just want to make sure because in this situation, Pindar, you would get a +2 to hit, and I would, depending on how you roll it, Christopher, I would get either a +2 or a +4.
Yeah, I think the backstab rules are somewhat.
This is the bonus to hit. It's not the backstab.
yeah.
The backstab is a +4 or double damage. Actually, is what it is. So
right. I would say that distracted enemies locked in melee, you'd get a bonus to hit.
okay, gotcha. All right. Okay. Yeah, I moved there.
Okay. It is now the melee phase. I'm gonna say that Pendar's allowed to keep his 18 though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
You rolled it, so everyone who's rolling. So,
they
so
fired
this,
missiles. That's right.
They did. This
Suckers.
guy is still kicking, but you almost cleaved him in twain, if you will. So it is melee phase now.
I missed.
Okay. Ooh, the florp. Oh,
I actually do
not
one
quite
damage.
enough. Oh, that's right. You have a negative damage modifier. Oh, these
How'd
guys.
you get a negative damage?
Yeah, I looked at the strength and it gives you a negative if you suck
Yep.
that bad. I have a four strength.
These guys are on their last legs, and so they are going to attempt to flee. Everyone that's at melee range will get an attack on them as they attempt to flee.
Oh, miss.
Damn.
Miss.
Your target armor class is 13.
Oh, so I beat.
Wait, I got a 13 because of my strength.
Yep.
Yes.
Le Gold.
What's the damage of a spear? Is a d6, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's d6 plus 1
So
if you're
that
using
is
both
2.
hands. That will kill him. That will also kill him. They're both dead. They both had 1 HP, or one of them had 2 HP left, but they're both dead. Your foes lie slain before you in a mess of tears and urine. What do you do?
I say, "Ha ha! I've led you all to victory again," with my spear utterly not having hit anything.
It has a trickle of blood coming
Yeah.
down the haft.
I cut myself. I drew blood.
Let's see. Okay. So we got 2 doors. Obviously, we check these bodies, and then my proposal is that we keep moving and don't examine a door and take the nearest door.
Okay. The bodies contain 12 copper pieces on them, and various trinkets which are useless and garbage. And then a crudely fashioned short sword and spear per kobold. So a couple of quick notes. There are lit torches on the east wall, and on the east and west walls both are faded murals. The doors on the west and south walls are splashed with dried blood.
Wow. Okay, that is a important development. So, the blood is black and like it's been there forever, or is it
Long time.
Okay.
It's still there, so it can't have been that long ago, but it's definitely dried and coagulated.
Well, I will tamp this torch, and we'll take the torch with us. You know, I don't think we can make it look like we weren't here. I don't know if you guys disagree, but I think it's obvious. They also screeched and everything. So, and then I think we need to go check those murals and check the stone and run our hands along it and kind of poke at it and see if the where the murals meet, if the stone moves.
I'd like to take a couple spears to chuck in the future.
Please, by all means. It's important to note, actually, I will mention this. The spears which you've received from these malformed humanoids are different in form and fashion than the ones which you saw on the northern ruins.
Yeah.
They're quite different.
I'm assuming very crudely made.
Yeah, absolutely. Smaller. Yeah, they're not well kept, even if they were originally well made. The murals are hard to make out clearly, even by torchlight. They are clearly very old and faded, but they appear to be depicting scenes of dragons fighting.
Wow. Does it look like the stones are different here in any place where it might move? The stone might move, or it might obscure some unfinished passage or anything like that?
Part of the ingenuity of the original designers of this mural hall is that they left the mural walls intentionally less smooth than the other walls in order to better keep the carving, engraving, and painting of these walls. That being said, they're still as uniform as the other walls. So
Gotcha.
While it's less smooth, it's still as uniform.
All right. Where the blood splattered is also uniform, right?
More or less. It looks like just by dint of sheer volume of blood, there's a lot on the doors.
Wow.
And it almost looks as though somebody had taken the bucket of blood from the movie Carrie and splashed it on the doors quickly.
Are you okay with me opening the north door and us creating our formation around it? Okay, we create the same formation around the north door, and then I open it.
Which I believe was these guys, like that.
Yeah, all of the fighters with spears and shields can fit into one grid.
Right.
And then if the door opens inward, then they can be there in the adjacent grid, and then one person can fight from. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's right.
The doors so far have all appeared to open away from rooms. So this one is to say this is a push.
If that's the case, then we will have everybody form around it, ready for a ranged attack.
Right. Make sure I have the right room. I don't. Okay. Okay. As you open the door, you are greeted with a portcullis on the other side, about 20 feet away.
Okay.
Give me 1 second. Okay. Orange light pours through a portcullis at the end of the corridor ahead, forming a checkered pattern on the corridor's floor, walls, and ceiling. Two small, shadowy shapes shift behind the portcullis, gibbering and yelping excitedly.
Alright, we can't tell what the shape is from where we are. And
it sounds like what you've been fighting.
Oh.
Okay. And then actually you would be able to tell because it's illuminated back there.
Okay. And the floors, you said, are illuminated in orange, is that right?
Yep. That would just be the light from the room behind this portcullis.
Does anyone speak Kobold or monster languages? No? Okay. I propose, and so I'll toss this around. I actually suggest we leave. What do you think, Wolf?
I just look to you and I go, in all honesty, we have other places to go. If you wish to leave, it's probably not the worst idea, especially with this portcullis. Don't know what's on the other side here. They could be guarding something.
I think it's a trap. Pindar, what do you think?
If we don't have a way to open it, I don't think we should rush in. So yeah, sounds good to me.
Yeah, I think we might be able to figure it out, but I don't think. Now the bad news is, this whole place knows we're here at this point, so we're going to be going right into people that aren't surprised and are going to be waiting with other traps and tricks.
Well, specifically, we also were told that we heard them cackling specifically, almost as if that's kind of an offset to what we've been witnessing.
Yeah, they're beyond that portcullis. There's more of these monsters are back there, so they know we're here. All right, yeah, we'll leave. We'll go to the south door.
Yeah, I'll say that you're reasonably able to retreat without being harassed in any way.
Let's spike that door and take the time to do it. Legant, you said you have hammers and pythons?
I have a hammer, yes. I do not have batons.
Or iron spikes or whatever. Let me see if I have it. I probably do.
I have a crowbar. If we can't do that, we could just barricade the door.
You bar it.
Bar.
This is a pole door.
Oh, it's a pole. Yeah.
That's right. I like to think that from where Legant is from, piton is how you spit.
Piton.
Piton.
I don't have a hammer or iron spikes. I can't believe I didn't get it. But did no one else? No one else has a hammer or iron spikes?
It's actually embarrassing, Ross.
It is.
How long have you been
Unacceptable.
doing this for?
Unacceptable.
Let me just make sure of something real quick that I wrote down. Backpack, torch, crowbar, shovel. Yeah, I don't have any of those.
All right, no problem. We'll keep moving. We'll go to the south door, and I'll open it since I should pay for my sins.
You guys have about 30 minutes left, just so you know. Okay.
Such fools we are to never have packed bikes in our inventories.
Let me just make sure I'm where I need to be.
Can barely scrape 2 coins together. Cannot afford the batons.
I should have prepared whole store then.
Okay. Nothing jumps out at you. Your 10-foot pole doesn't detect anything, and you're in a corridor here. Let me make sure your vision token is up. It leads to the west, to the east, and you can see rounded corners in each direction.
Let's. This is also a vote. Let's go away from where those things are if we can help it.
Oh yeah.
So, okay, so that's a yes. Sorry. Still getting used to everybody's characters' names. Legant, what do you think? Do you think that we should... See, I'm thinking if we go to the right front right now, that will more likely go to where they are, unless they were able to... Because we asked about the walls, remember? And the walls were supposed to be contiguous, uniform, and same. So there shouldn't be any observation holes or arrow slits or anything. So if we go to the left, we should be able to explore something else.
I like the left.
So to the left of your character is this way, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. All right. So both of these passages actually narrow into 5-foot corridors.
No problem. We were ready for that. We do our 5-foot formation with 3 fighters up front, spears and shields, a second rank with me in it with spears, and magic user in the back.
Okay. Let me just readjust you guys quick.
The downside to this is that all of us can fall in one pit.
That would be an extreme downside, wouldn't it?
So we are also using the 10-foot pole. This would be
Yes.
Wolf. Wolf is poking as he goes.
This corridor extends quite past your torchlight. Going up, you see there is a fork in the road that leads off to the east. It also continues further north.
Is this an... Oh, yeah, okay. Well, we'll go up to the intersection to start with.
Okay. I'm going to put the light token there. So it continues even further up to the north and then to the east as well, with what appears to be a corridor that leads from the north down that east passage.
I say let's go ahead and clear this. I propose we keep going north until we... By the way, who's mapping?
I got it.
Thanks.
Yeah.
All right, awesome.
I'm
Okay.
doing my best attempt to make a map myself, though I cannot guarantee any accuracy.
Yeah, anybody who maps will get 100 XP.
Awesome.
Sweet.
Let's keep going north.
All right, give me just 1 second. If I'm being honest, I didn't get the time to do all the walls up here, so I'm just slapping down a couple so that your vision will be given. All right. You come to a door at the end of this narrow corridor.
All right.
It's a pull handle.
This is not ideal. All right, so I'm going to listen at the door, which I think is going to be worse than a trap. Everybody move off the door and Glorpert by 10 feet. So, and then, sorry, I said Glorpert. Yeah. Florpert will go up and listen at the door. I have a 3 and 6 for hearing sounds. And then if somebody could guard and everybody else search the wall for secret passages.
Ross, do you normally do if I roll above a 3 or below a 3? Or like 1, 2, 3 or 3, 4, 5?
My understanding is that it's always below because it's like, and it's like low is like you're doing something within, a skill within, and then you roll high if it's without. So initiative is always overcoming something out of you. Doing a skill check is always low.
I always took 1 and 6 to mean out of 6-sided dice. If you get a 1,
yeah, exactly.
And I always liked that it was phrased that way.
Yeah.
You hear nothing beyond the door except for dripping water, and echoey, drowning out every other sound around you. Dripping water.
Excellent. Okay, Pindar, it's your turn.
This looks like a pull, or is it a push?
This is a pull.
Pendar, the shield in one hand and nothing in the other, will pull open the door.
Okay. All right. You open the door. And I'm gonna say that you guys surprise these guys because they're not looking this way. What you see is 2 kobolds on either side of an open pit, which is blocking the way north. It's reasonable to get around it, but it would slow down any potential intruders. And they are looking this way, so they don't see you or hear you come through that door.
All right, let's shoot them.
You get a surprise round.
Does this work? Are they facing away from us?
They are. They're both facing north across this pit.
Okay.
So really, they're like here, facing north.
Am I right there in melee range of one of them?
You can pretty easily sneak up and start stabbing.
I'll let everyone else do what they're doing first. So.
Yeah, it looks like we've got 2 hits ranged already. So that's enough to kill both of them.
Sweet.
On their corpses are 8 copper pieces and a hand axe each. A crudely shapen stone hand axe, but looks to be about as effective as your modern day tools.
This pit that you mentioned that they were guarding, is it empty or does it just look like a pit that they dug, or is there some kind of specific purpose maybe?
What an excellent question.
Because it seems kind of strange just to have a pit here that we could go around in the middle of.
Let me describe what we're looking at here.
Okay.
This room is a natural cavern i.e., the walls are not in any way effaced. Made of dark limestone rock. The stone has changed. Water drips down from the ceiling and trickles down the walls. Partially blocking the exit to the north is a 20 feet deep open pit.
Okay.
There does not appear to be anything in the pit so far as you can tell.
Alright. Might just be a natural formation, possibly. Or just maybe something they dug. Then.
This tells us that they're going to constantly employ pits against us.
Yes.
The only other thing you notice is that across the pit, there are crudely fashioned signs with white skulls, crossbones, and red X's on them.
Oh, so this is the way the kobolds communicate. Yeah. Sort of.
They're trying to ward people off, and then they use all these pits and stuff. Okay, well, let's keep going to the north and keep our formation and use our 10-foot pole.
As we're moving by, I'm going to grab one of those hand axes, and can I kick one of the kobolds into the pit?
Yeah, you can do that.
Alright, cool.
Go ahead, John.
I also would like a hand axe.
Sure. This is actually how you find out that the pit is about 20 feet deep. You sort of count how long it takes for him to land. And he lands with a sort of a light splash and a wet thud. Okay. Let me just make sure your guys' walls are right. Just give me 2 seconds here. I'm doing this quick, so it might be shoddy work.
Obviously,
Okay.
we take the copper pennies.
Yeah, yep.
Yes.
Alright. Crossing the pit. Oh gosh, it's embarrassing. You're met with a crossroads, one which goes to the east and one which goes to the west. This is a very naturally forming cavern. It's very thin in some places and quite wide in others. You can tell this isn't like a burrow. This isn't something that people have dug out. This is a cave.
This is interesting. I actually think, for the mapper's sake, we should stay to the left. And not to say, just to say that way we can kind of complete a mapping portion instead of having a winding path. I think when you map and you have kind of like I can't think of the term, but it jukes off, it can give, it's harder to figure out the architecture of it. But whatever the mappers have at the end of this, if we map closer, we'll have a better idea of what's going on, I think. Let's go to the left.
All right. To the left, that is to say the west, I'm moving the kobolds with you. All right. To the west. Water trickles down the walls, forming small puddles on the floor. The floor is densely covered in mushrooms and fungi. Tracks can be seen crossing the room. The exit to the west has a shallow 5-foot ceiling. The one to the north is 12 feet high. So that would be up here.
Do these mushrooms look typical and mundane that we might know, or do they look exotic and strange?
They look typical, and some of these you actually identify as edible mushrooms.
Okay, we gather the mushrooms, and then at this point I kind of want to ask, as far as continuing, I think we're making good progress on mapping this, though. I actually just want to ask the two people mapping, Pindar and Randall, where do you all want to go based on what you've mapped so far to try to draw out the architecture?
So there are two exits from this room. The one to the north, you said, was 5 feet tall?
The one to the north is 12 feet tall. The one to the west is 5 feet tall.
5 feet tall. Let's peek. Well, I would vote for just like peeking down the 5 foot one. That to me seems like a snake or some other critter burrow. And I would just like want to just see if we want to cover that or like just be aware of it.
Yeah. And then I would go down the north because it's bigger.
All right, let's go to the west, but I'll just move ahead with a... Does anybody have a lantern? That will also help us here. No one has a lantern? Okay.
Mm-mm.
In that case, I'll move ahead with a torch, and I'll just, peek around the corner with the torch and look.
Yeah, give me 1 second. Yeah, so so the ceiling is low, probably about 5 foot to 4 foot high in some places. Around this corner here, especially, it's very cramped and very dark in there. It's still possible to walk through, and you can hear the faint sounds of squeaking rats and scuttling.
Okay. We'll go to the north passage using the 10-foot pole in the ground with Wolf. Or,
Okay.
sorry, Legant. Sorry.
I'll be up here. Okay. So it opens up into a bit of a more spacious area up here, right? There are ceilings that are about 12 feet high. This cave has beautiful purple crystal shards jutting out of the ceiling and walls. Any light is refracting and multiplying, sending purple rays of light bouncing off the walls and ceiling. You feel a sense of calm upon entering this area.
That's a tough one. Okay, let's take our time. This is getting into magical, tricky crap. Randall, what do you think?
Sorry, I just have one more thing for you guys here.
No. No, it's fine.
They're sleeping in this area are 5 kobolds. You have not yet alerted them, so they're still asleep.
Oh, let's kill them.
Yeah.
Put them in their final sleep.
Yeah, you're able to do so easily. They're defenseless and they're sleeping. As you stab into them, you notice they don't bleed as much as other kobolds have. When you stab into them or slit their throats, it's not gushing blood. It's more like the light leaves their eyes and their hearts stop beating and such, and they die. But their blood is clotting as you.
What is on the ceiling?
These crystals are going to put us to sleep, and we're going to have to save Versa. We need to back up. Okay, so let's take the kobolds and get out. Just drag the bodies and get out of here.
Yeah, backing up, you feel that sense of calm departing from you as you leave those purple crystals. The kobolds had a javelin, a short sword, and 11 copper per. So that is 55 copper.
11 copper, a what, and a short sword?
A javelin and a short sword.
One
Javelina.
short sword. Okay. Mappers, make sure you make a note. Something like purple rocks seem to put to sleep or calm or something.
Yep.
Awesome. Okay. Let's go ahead and... I feel like... And maybe a note to the west that's just like rats, question mark? I don't just note this stuff. I feel like we're... In the remaining time we have left, it'd be better to check out the east. What do you all think? Yeah, okay. Let's...
Yes, I would like to take this short sword.
Okay.
And just double check for the kobolds we found. Say, was 55 copper or 11 copper?
It was 11 copper per kobold, so 55 copper total.
All right. Yeah, let's go to the east.
Okay. So as you backtrack back to the Y intersection, there's the pit down there. You head to the east. Okay. You open up into a myriad of giant exotic toadstools and fungus. It fills this broad, natural cave. The ceiling is resplendent with hanging stalactites of brown and cream-colored shades. Water drips steadily down from the ceiling to the host of mushrooms below. There are obvious tracks, kobold, as you've seen before, and one which you that Floor might recognize as small humanoid. Through the mushrooms, many of the mushrooms show signs of being harvested. Visibility in this room is slightly lower because there's so many mushrooms in the room. The ceiling reaches a height of 50 feet near the center of the room.
Okay, let's follow the wall. I want to toss this back over to the mappers because you guys have an eye on kind of what it's looking like. Do you think that you're going to get a greater sense of what's around here in these caverns if we go north or south? Let's not leave the walls is my proposal though, because we could get lost and then or is it like we don't seem to be finding anything, we should just go back to the Dwarven hold?
My guess is if we went north, we might find a passageway that goes back to the purple crystal sleep.
There you
Like
go.
we could like
That will
close
actually
that
close that off, yeah. What do you think? You like that, Randall?
Oh yeah, north to like close it off, like figure out there's like the way to the purple crystals, and
Yeah.
then I think if we have enough time left, is to go down south and see if that goes anywhere, because it kind of closes up like the area we came from like the ruins we passed, and like the leading up to the east.
All right, let's do that. Let's go north along the wall. We use the 10-foot. Well, no, not if it doesn't make any sense. Obviously, like if it's just. But
Yeah, you can see the purple light
there you
glowing
go.
from this room up
Oh
here.
yeah.
There you go.
it,
You're
The
not
passage
going to
is
see
quite
that.
tight, but yeah. Oops.
Yeah, great job. Good idea. All right, yeah, let's keep going along the north wall then.
Okay.
Until we come to some resolution on it.
Yeah. So you keep walking along the north wall. The tracks are a little bit less dense, but they're down here. They cross the middle of the room here. You can see over here, there's 3 columns of rock there, interspersed with slightly smaller. They're like they go from the ground to the ceiling, almost like natural supports, and there's slightly thinner passageways in between them onto the other side of them.
Do you guys want to go check these thin passageways?
Not especially, no. I feel like we'd be at
Not
a
with-
disadvantage.
That's fine. Just make a note, like
Oh
unexplored
my gosh!
thin
Yeah.
passageways. or something.
Sorry. Real quick before we skip past this, I didn't mention this because I didn't read this right away. Near the north wall is a pile of bones. Amongst the bones is a human-sized suit of plate mail in good condition.
Oh yeah, one of you fighters, man. Fighter, one of you. Who wants it?
So glad I read that.
I would say I have 13 AC right now with the ring mail, and I have 8 HP. Who doesn't have plate mail specifically? I know I don't. I have ring mail.
Pindar doesn't.
I have ring. I have 3 HP. Well, I'm happy to I don't mind just rolling a dice, and whoever gets a higher roll gets it.
Well, no, I was gonna say like even in character, Wolf would probably just give it to you because you
Okay.
probably would be a lot more. I wouldn't say scrawny, but like you
Right.
would probably think you're more or less meaty than me.
Let's just carry it with us for now because we can't get it on anyway. But when we get to a
Yeah.
point
Yep.
where we can take some time, we'll be able to get it on somebody. But okay, so and mappers, make sure you make a note here that we didn't explore these narrow passageways, right? And then otherwise,
Yep.
let's keep heading south along the wall.
Russ, I'm going to say at this point your party has become exhausted, and
All
you
right.
retreat back to Longfelt to rest and recuperate for your next adventure.
All right.
Sweet.
So we have technically 7 minutes till the session ends. Now I won't be able to run next week, but I can run the week after. Do I have anybody to confirm for those weeks? For that week,
Oh yeah,
can
I can
run-
make it every week.
the 27th.
The
Okay.
27th. Yeah, I can be able to make that.